stable, listen, we want to help you. We want to help you stabilize. You stabilize through strategization and systematization. Instead of things being all shaky and up and down and uncertain, we want to help you to stabilize, strategize, and then systematize. That's how you scale. You don't scale from being all over the place and not knowing where your next dollar is coming from and hunting for clients and hunting for leads and hunting for sales. No. You do this the right way by becoming sticky in the marketplace. Your branding has to be sticky. So when people pass by your website, when they pass by your post, you become attractive in the marketplace and they find themselves compelled to come to you and they want to know more as opposed to them ghosting you. All right? So if you want to stabilize your income, stabilize your significance and your presence, strategize and systematize and scale your business instead of it being shaky and all over the place, register now for the brand challenge where we're going to show you those 3 S's. Strategize, systematize, scale. Let's grow.
All right, welcome, guys. This is Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Junior Frederick, and you are now tuned into the #1 podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to go from bland to industry leading brand. If you are now tuned in live, 3 things. Number 1, put some flames in the chat. Number 2, let us know where you're listening in from. And number 3, like, share, and definitely subscribe. So we have a phenomenal show for you today. And I have with me the king of branding himself, Mr. Shan Raiz. So when you're ready, Shan, let's come out. Let's have some fun. All right. I think you're on mute there. Hold on.
That's the
Here we
airport,
go.
guys. Pardon me. Yeah. Hey, listen. We have a phenomenal lineup for you guys today. I'm going to be on as long as I possibly can. I'm trying to get them to hold the plane. I promise you. This is why you got to go private, right? This is why you got to go private. I'm at LAX right now. And I don't know. We're taking off about 6 o'clock, right? So listen, 6 o'clock LA time, Eastern, that's what time it is now over there. So that's why you guys are starting now. I'm behind a little bit, but we're going to catch up. So I'm actually flying forward in time. To get here, I flew backwards in time. Get your mind right, guys. Like, for real, for real. Like, get your mind right when it comes to business. Get your mind right. Get your health right. And get your timing right, because you're not going to be able to operate at a high level without it, right? Like the brand, your business, you're going to have to operate at an optimal level to be able to move forward and do the things that you want to do and be the person that you need to be right now in this time.
Very nice. Very nice. So, Shan, I know that the brand has been on the road. So, for the people looking who may not know why you're in
Ooh.
LA, can you give us some context?
Oh yeah, I came out here to work with Jay Abraham, right? So Jay Abraham is known as the godfather of marketing. And I don't know if you saw Goodfellas or The Godfather, right? But when The Godfather calls, you don't say no, right? You don't say no. So when the Godfather of marketing reached out to the king of branding, it was only right that I come and add my expertise to the eclectic group of people that he was educating and speaking with in
Nice,
Redondo Beach, California. Yes, sir.
nice, nice. That's Jay Abraham. I wonder how many of you know who Jay Abraham is. Like, if you don't know who Jay Abraham is, then you should know. Trust me. If you don't know, then you should know. All right. I
Definitely.
want to send a few shout outs. I see YB. So shout out to YB, right? So that's YB
Let's
Youngblood,
go. Let's go.
the
Yes, sir.
LinkedIn locksmith, right? I see Shade. So shout out to Shade Rivera. Good
Good
morning, good
morning. Good
morning.
morning.
Jackie, phenomenal morning. All right. There we go. Let's see. All right, Shan. So I guess you're only gonna be on not too long, right? Because you
Super,
are getting
super
your
tight schedule. Super tight schedule. I'm going to prolong it as long as possible. I don't think they've started boarding yet, right? But I just wanted to come back with a couple principles that people can utilize right now, right? And that first piece was that health piece. Like if your health is not right, you're not going to be able to move. You're not going to be able to move with your branding, with your business, with whatever it is that you're trying to do. Like you got to be okay. Like for real, for real. You got to be right. You got to be optimal. For optimal performance, you've got to perform optimally internally. Everybody wants external success, but I promise you, flying backwards and forwards in time will collapse your internal if you're not right and exact.
nice. It's just like you always say, the external results depend upon the internal work, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
that's right.
right.
That's right.
We've been on like 3, 4, maybe 5 flights last month. And this week alone, this in the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been about 5 to 6 flights in the last 2 to 3 weeks, right? And I'm flying back to fly out, and then I'm flying back to fly out again, right? So before the end of this week coming, there'll be about 6 flights taken. So you gotta be right to be able to sustain that. No late nights, no partying, no drinking, all that stuff that people like to do. Like, decide what you like and love so you can live the life that you love. Decide what you like and love and make the appropriate sacrifices so you can live the life that you love.
Right. And this is so interesting because all of this is recent. It's actually just after speaking like a leader, isn't it?
It is. It is. So listen, guys. We did a course called Speaking Like a Leader. I knew what was happening, right? I knew what we were about to do because we've done it. Like we put in the work to be at a specific place. And this is why I taught that course specifically so that I wouldn't be alone on the road, right? I did this so that everybody would see exactly how to not just get on the road, but get back to back bookings on the road so that you build your itinerary, build your brand in a short amount of time worldwide. We're in Berlin, Germany later this month. Like it's not a game. It's not a game at all.
From New York to LA to Germany, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And this
And
is this is for
everywhere
speaking
in
like a
between.
leader.
I've been to everywhere in between.
Yeah.
ATL, VA, North Carolina in a matter of time, in a matter of
Right.
days.
Right. Right. I know a lot of people do have questions. That this might be a Mr. B question, right? But I know a lot of people they want to see the footage. So I'm not sure. Is any footage out as yet, to your knowledge?
Yes, yes, definitely. Just go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube. As a
Okay.
matter of fact, we're going to create a new channel and we're going to have a channel within the channel. And we'll probably be on the road with Sean, on the road with Rais, on the
Nice.
road with Rais. So check it out, guys. The all the footage is going to be up on the website. But this is the thing. It's not about me. This is the thing that people don't get. Everybody's like, oh, he's doing this, he's doing this. There's pictures of him, pictures of him, pictures of him. I teach the courses before I live the life. Like I teach the courses before I walk it out. Yes, we're in Myrtle Beach next month. I teach the course so that I'm not alone. I give it away. So you can actually come with me on these trips, take the course, implement the material within the course. I teach you how to get bookings. I teach you the language. I give you the scripts on how to speak to the booking agent so that the booking agents come to you and you can actually get on the road and they book you too. This is not about me. I can't reach as many people as you can. Everybody on this call has their own market, their own voice, their own passion, their own what we call the three E's. So the education, the experience, and the expertise.
Nice, nice. So guys, listen, if you haven't taken speaking like a leader, then you definitely want to consider that if you want to become a
If
speaker.
you
I
want to
know,
do this, like if you
yeah,
want to do
not
this, yeah, you
everybody,
might not want to do this. I was
yeah,
up at
yeah,
2 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, you might not want to do this. But I could definitely attest to number one, making certain, I don't like to think of it as sacrifices. Um
Investments.
what investments, that's what it is.
That's right. Make
Like
the
stuff
investment.
when it comes to like your health, changing the way that you eat, the way that you sleep, the way that you move. A lot of people see it as a sacrifice, but it's not a sacrifice. It's an investment. I could definitely
That's right.
attest to that. Definitely attest to that. I know you're on for a short amount of time, so I want to present the room with the opportunity to ask you any questions that they may have. So, guys, if you have a question for Shan, just put it in the chat. Right, just put it in the chat if you have a question for Shan. It's probably gonna
And
only
we'll
be on a
we'll
few
get
more
to that
minutes.
when we come back. We'll get to that when we come back from the break. Go ahead, Mr. B. Take us to those breaks. I enjoy those breaks, man. Let's grow.
All right, guys, welcome back. This is Breakfast with the Brand, and I am your host, Junior Frederick. So, guys, we're actually with Shan right now. He's on the road. He's actually in LA, and we're taking any questions as far as it relates to branding, speaking, or just being on the road. In fact, Shan, I have a question. Um, yeah, for all of the people um, listening, let's talk about mindset because I feel as if even if you give people the right content, if they don't have the mindset, that it just it doesn't work, right? So And it's a very interesting thing to see you where you are doing what you're doing, right? And we don't often get the opportunity to talk to people who are doing what you're doing, like right in the moment.
Yes, sir.
Like really think about that, guys. Being able to see somebody rise and being able to speak with them in that moment, right? So what is the mindset? Now,
Well, let me.
two things, Sean. Hold on.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Let's talk about the transition, right? The mindset you had before. So before branded like a leader, right? Before everything started, and the mindset that you have now, and let's talk about the growth and what that looks like.
Okay, okay. So watch this, guys. For those of you who know my story, you know about the 4 hour lap. Who knows about the 4 hour lap? Put it in the chat if you guys heard of the 4 hour lap. Anybody heard about the 4 hour lap? And even the people that have been with me, right? A lot of times, the people that have been with me, you might discount the 4 hour lap. You might not know what I'm talking about. But watch this. Every single morning, I used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and be at the gym by 4. 4 to 5, I'd be working out, getting out of the gym. And then I would get on the train around 6 to 8. Had to be at work at 8. So from 6 to 8, I was going from the Long Island Railroad to the Bronx. That's the Bronx, New York, to work. And then I was on the Bronx Transit or Brooklyn, because I worked in 2 different places as a consultant. So I would hit 2 different spots. So either Brooklyn or Bronx. Either way, it took me 2 hours to get there, 2 hours to get back every single day. During that time, I was in college full time. During that same time, I was in college full time. So I'm either on the laptop going on above ground. So on the Long Island Railroad, I was above ground, so I was able to do schoolwork. And then when I was underground, I would fold up the laptop and take out the books and start reading and start hitting it. Every single day for 3 years. For 3 years, I did this. So every single day, 4 hours of traveling commute, right? I would be studying my craft, knowing, let me say it again, knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that I would be here. Never once. I remember it being 4, 3 to, I promise you, it felt like 4. Man, I would go to work on days when there was a blizzard coming. And the blizzard would show up. And it would be 4 feet. And if you know what it is to get an Uber or try to take transit in New York in 3, 4, it's unbelievable. I mean, complete washouts. And I did this for 3 to 4 years. Before then, I knew that I would be here. So it's a state of knowing. A lot of you guys are struggling, right? You're in this position where you're wondering if it'll ever happen. You're in a position where you're back and forth to work and ish gets hard. Ish gets hard. I'm going to tell you, you got to have a mindset of certainty that you're going to arrive, and you can't let go of the grind that you have while you're on it, because that's your saving grace, right? The grind that you're on is your saving grace, and it's preparing you for it's preparing you to become the you that you have to be. It's preparing you for the you that you have to become in order to handle the weight that God is going to put on you. If I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be able to do this. That's what I'm going to say. If I didn't show my faithfulness in that calling, then why would I be assigned a higher level of responsibility?
Right.
So that's the mindset, certainty.
Certainty, right? You know, it's so amazing once you have that level of certainty. It's like and you know something too, Shan. I think all successful people we share that knowing. We
It's
share that.
conviction. You have to be
Yeah,
convicted. You can't
yeah,
be conflicted. You're either convicted or conflicted. Let me say that. Everybody on this call, you either conflicted or convicted. A lot of you are conflicted. You need to become convicted.
That's right.
Stop. You can't go back and forth. Trust me when I tell you, you cannot go back and forth. Like, this is not a back and forth game. You put this down for any amount of time, and you'll never be able to pick it back up again because someone else hungrier than you will be knocking you down on their way to the goal.
Now that's interesting. When you say somebody else that's hungrier than you, what I hear is, not all of the times people are not always better than us, right?
Nope.
People are not always better than us.
Nope.
They're not smarter, not faster, not stronger, but they're more persistent.
That's what it is. It's consistency. I was in a room full of multimillionaires for the last 3 days. Everybody, everybody hungry. I mean, hungry. Everybody showed. I was the earliest to the room again, as always. Earliest to the gym, as always. Because I'm still. Watch this. They're trying to become, trying to get to where I already am. However, they still not as hungry as I am. You got to remain the hungriest. You got to remain the earliest. You got to remain the hardest working person in the room, no matter what, no matter who, no matter where. That's why alpha performers are respected by alpha performers. Like, there's no, how you say, there's no hate at the top. At the plateau, like, phenomenal people get together and laugh about the grind, like laugh about how hard it is, laugh about busted bones, broken bodies, you know, turning, like, creating yourself from nothing. Like, we get together and we laugh about it because we know what it takes. We know what it takes, and it's never a competitive spirit. Like, when you think about the alpha performers in the games that we play, they're all here. Like, they're all here, and we consistently raise each other up and give each other key pointers in certain areas that each one of us may need a reaffirming word in. Right. So it's okay. So let me say this. It's a community at the top, and it's collaboration over competition. Only the
You know,
people on the
that's,
bottom think that way
that's exactly what I was just about to say. It sounds like the mindset up there is a mindset of abundance.
all day
It's a
because
mindset of
we know they print money.
exactly.
They print money every day. Like, people have a job, they're going to work right now to print money. Only the people at the bottom think there's only a little bit to go around. So they got to cut each other throat, cut each other, stab each other in the back, and get over on each other, lie to each other, try to, you know, swindle each other. Like, that's not what's going on at the top. At the top, there's an overwhelming knowledge that there's so much to go around, that we
Yeah.
just keep trying to make each other better, reinforce each other. And that's why you see the top players in any game always giving. Always giving. The more you give, the more you empty your bank account, the more you provide, the more you exhaust yourself, the more you'll be replenished.
Shall I say that one more time? Nah,
Sounds
the reason I'm saying that is
trying to
because
play
I know a
me.
lot of people. No, no, no. A lot of people didn't catch that.
Okay.
A
All right,
lot of
no
people didn't
problem.
catch that.
The more that you invest, the
Yes.
more that you give, the more that you empty out your bank account, the more that you exhaust yourself, the more that you'll be replenished. The more will
That's
be
right.
deposited into you.
Yep. I was just having this conversation yesterday, and I was saying that the relationships, when you look at an asset, right? An asset is something that retains value. Something that retains value. Cash doesn't retain value. Cash doesn't
Nope.
retain value. So I was saying that it's the relationships. The relationships grow.
Ah,
They
relational
retain
capital. Yes,
value.
sir.
Yeah, relationship capital. So
Yes,
the
sir.
relationships, not only do they retain value, they also grow
Hmm.
in value. So
All day.
if I'm connected to Shan becomes more successful. By being connected to him, I have the opportunity to become more successful. And same thing,
There
if
you
I
go.
become more successful, he's connected to me, he has the opportunity to become more successful through a connection or through some other means. And I was
Yes, sir.
literally just talking about this yesterday.
Let me give you an example, right? I taught Spirit, Mind, and Body in Branded Like a Leader, week number 4. Spirit, Mind, and Body. And I spoke those words based on the arrival here. I said, if your spirit, your mind, and your body isn't right, money won't help you. Like you're gonna go to a certain level and you're gonna crash. It's gonna expose you. Your talent is gonna take you, watch, your talent is gonna take you somewhere that your character can't sustain you. Now, if I got the talent to speak and to be on stage and to be in these masterminds and be giving this information. However, if my character was one where I had late nights and late mornings because I was hungover, right, or hood habits instead of good habits, then I wouldn't be here for this flight early in the morning, or I wouldn't be able to sustain on camera doing this because I'd be, all messed up in the face and, trying to, wiping stuff out of my eyes because my character isn't there yet. And that's the problem. A lot of you guys are looking for things that your character's not ready for yet. Like, I want the money, I want the success. Give me the mic. I deserve the mic. Put me on the spotlight, Sean. Put me on the stage. You're not ready for the stage yet. You're not developed yet to where you're ready for the stage. And I guarantee you this, don't chase the stage. The stage is something that's given to you.
That's right. That's right. That's, guys, you should definitely write that down. The stage is something that is given to you. And it could be given to you by people. It could be given to you by life, right? Sometimes life puts you in
All
circumstances.
day. Oh,
You know,
watch this.
uh-huh.
Watch this, Junior. Watch this. Everybody right now is on a stage. Everybody right now is in a stage and they're on a stage. You get to the next stage in development, the next stage of exposure based on how you handle this stage. Some people are so close, but they fail in their investments. They fail in their investments at the very last moment. Their money starts coming up short. And they no longer it's no longer applicable to you. Real talk. Like, they get to a certain level and their faith allows their work to show up as less. And it's noticeable. It's noticeable, and they miss the flight. Real talk, they miss the flight. Like, we're going from flight to flight to flight, connector to connector to connector. If your investments fail you, if your physical investments, if your health investments, if your relational investments, if your relationship capital, if your economic capital fail you, then you're going to get to the gate and they're going to take your card and you're going to be found wanting instead of deserving.
It's a big lesson right there. So Shan, so for the people who may not have the mindset of certainty, is that is that something that you can really develop? Can somebody develop that? And if so, like what how can they begin to develop that mindset?
Faith is a muscle. Faith is a muscle. It has to be exercised. You build the muscle of faith by using it, by exercising it. You have to work out. You have to work out. So one of the biggest leaps of faith that I ever took was entering college. Hugest leap of faith ever, because for those of you who know, I was not the consummate student, right? So for me to, let's go switch legs real quick. For me to jump in college was a huge act of faith, because there was something put on my spirit to become more, do more, and take risks. And I did that, right? I jumped on that. So I want you to think of, what are you not doing that you could be doing? It would be a HELL of a stretch, right? It's uncomfortable, It's not something that makes all the sense in the world right now. It's not viable. Your finances don't support it. Your relationships don't support it. And it doesn't seem confirmed. It's not certain. It requires a higher level of faith. It requires what we call a leap of faith. Whatever that is, jump over that. Like whatever it is, take that leap. Maybe it's speaking like a leader. Maybe it's the leadership leverage. Maybe it's going back to school. Maybe it's buying the bigger car, buying the bigger house, taking on a bigger financial responsibility. You will never become that which you don't become. I
Right.
remember Eric, I remember E talking about the house in California. He loves his wife, and his wife was sick with MS, and he wanted to take her from one place geographically to another because the air was drier, so it was more healthy, it was more conducive. But I think the rent was 10K. Like the monthly note on the house was like $10,000, and he or $11,000, and he tried to, add it up. But before adding it up, he signed the dotted line. Before
Mm.
he added it up, he signed the dotted line. And because he signed the dotted line before he added it up, it was added unto him. Literally, like for real. Like he made the investment, he took the leap before it was fiscally sound.
Hmm.
Fiscally sound. Everyone would say, "What are you doing? That doesn't make sense. Your numbers aren't right." He took it on faith. And then in one deal, one book deal, all of the money was added unto him.
Imagine that. You
Stop
know,
trying to figure it out. Stop trying to
that's right.
figure it out. Faith it out.
That's right. You know what this reminds me of. This honestly reminds me of part of the journey, like the journey to all of us getting here, right? I know I could personally attest to you saying this to me before, right? And it comes back to the principle of moving before you're ready, right,
That's
guys?
right.
So if you're listening right now, if there's a switch in mindset that you have to make, like you always want to move, like people always tell me, for example, let's say they have to do something, maybe they have to do some program or they have to go out do something, they want to have all of their t's crossed, all of their i's dotted first, right?
Good luck with
And I
that.
and I understand that. I'm a high C. I'm a 99C. For those of you who know what a C is, then you know we love to have our I's dotted, our T's crossed. But I also understand that when you're becoming somebody different, you have to move before you're ready. That is just it's counterintuitive, but it is key to what we call a quantum leap. Moving before you're ready allows you to make the mental shift, to make the mental jump, and it gives you the mental shock that you need to become somebody different, literally. Because once
I like
you,
what
you know,
Michelle
you know,
said.
Sean,
Go
you know what,
ahead.
you said something to me a couple months ago, like you always do, right? So, guys, I Sean called me one day, and it was a lot of pressure, right? And then I asked him, well, what would you do if you were me? And he said, so no, I said something like, okay, why don't we do this instead of that? Why don't we do that instead of this? Something like that. And he said, no. He said, we're going to add more pressure. And I said, what? He said, yeah, we're going to add more pressure. So when I thought about that, I said that, like, I didn't say it to him, but in my mind I was like, this must be crazy. This sounds crazy, right? This sounds crazy. But then when we added more pressure, and I never back down from a challenge, right? So he's like, add more pressure. Of course, I'm like, yeah, let's do it, right? But in my mind, I'm thinking this is a. But anyways, we added more pressure, and having more pressure, being a higher pressurized environment, it actually forces you to become creative, come up with those creative solutions, and literally become a different person. Because human beings, like when we backed into a corner, two things are gonna happen, right? Either we're going to attack, or we're going to survive, right? Survive or die, basically. And
That's
we
it.
normally always pull through because
We
we
so
become.
fearful. That's what it is. We so fearful. We so afraid that we gonna die. Like it's not gonna happen. What's gonna happen is you gonna be stuck with your computer in your hand trying to add it up, and it's never gonna be added onto you.
Oh yeah, yep.
It's never gonna be added onto you. I mean, I don't talk too much craziness, right? Or what a lot of people would say is not crazy, but is religion, right? I don't do that. But I will say that the principles, the universal principles of having faith of a mustard seed and being able to move on the spirit will allow the unrealistic to happen. I mean, it makes if you look at it through conventional wisdom, and I gotta go because they're about to board. But if you look at it through conventional wisdom and conventional lenses, all of the people that I grew up with are dead, in jail for life, or not doing what I'm doing.
There
Very
you go.
few people, very few people made it out, right? Very few people made it out. However, the people that did make it out are living phenomenal lives. They might not be trying.
All right, I think we might have lost Shan for a little while there. All right, guys, we might have lost Shan there for a little while, but if you've enjoyed the show so far, put some flames in the chat. He has to travel. Hopefully, we can get him back for maybe one more minute, a few seconds. But if you have enjoyed this morning so far, if you're learning a lot, then put some more flames in the chat. We'll be back soon. Mr. B, let's take us to a break. And when we come back, we'll be talking more about the mindset, the entrepreneurial mindset for success. Let's grow.
What I want you
Or
to do is I want you to really think about the competency that you bring to the game. What do you really bring to the marketplace? A lot of people have an education in one thing, but then they say they want to do something else. They'll watch somebody on YouTube, and because they watch them and they seem to be making an impact, they want to change their whole story, change their whole repertoire, and become that person. And what happens when you do that is you become inauthentic. You're no longer authentic. And you're trying to bring someone else's expertise out of you, but you don't know what that person went through to get that expertise. And now you're not speaking in your gift or your expertise. So you lose your momentum when you do that. You lose your impact. You lose your sweet spot. And now you're a stranger on a strange island talking about a strange topic. And that's why people look at you like you're strange. And when you ask for money, they really look at you strange.
guys, that is such a powerful ad. I love that ad. Listen, I think we do have Shan with us
Yeah,
for
yeah.
4 seconds. There we
Can you
go.
guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, yeah, we about to board in a minute. The main thing I'm going to say, right, is get out your head, get into your heart, guys. Literally, Get out your head, get into your heart, and take risks. Take risks. Stop being afraid to take risks. Jump out there. It's a beautiful world, guys, and they need what you have, like right now. There's so many pandemics going on at once. It's crazy. Your education, experience, and expertise is needed. So get out of your head, get into your heart. I'll see you guys when I touch down. Let's grow. Thank you, Junior.
All right, let's
And keep
go.
it up, guys.
Safe flight.
All right.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. Thank you. All right, let's grow.
All right, guys. So thank you, guys. Listen, this has been amazing so far. We do want to keep the conversation going. I just want to send a few shout outs to a few of you right here, putting those flames in the chat. So I see Jackie. So shout out to you. Um, while we doing those shout outs, what is the number one thing that you've picked up today so far? Put that in the chat. So what is the number one lesson that you picked up from what Shan said this morning? Right? Phenomenal morning. I see Sierra. Michelle, phenomenal morning. All right. So let's see what are the major takeaways. So making pandemic money. Okay. All right. Definitely. Shout out to Tasha. Okay, so while we're waiting for those answers to come in, I do want to talk on a few things. I was making a few notes when we went to the break, but I want to bring on somebody else from the brand. So, Mr. B, if you are backstage, you want to come and meet the people, then definitely come out, brother, whenever you're ready. Okay, okay. All right, I think you're on mute, brother. There we go.
There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody.
Guys, listen, if you don't know who Mr. B is, if you like the commercials, put some flames in the chat for the commercials. If you like the commercials. If you like the commercials, this is the guy who's doing the videography. He makes the brand look phenomenal, right? The videography, the photography, and everything, the commercials, all of that. So if you like that, then this is Mr. B. So what's up, Mr. B? How's everything going, brother?
Pretty good. Just back here working, posting,
Yeah,
and creating things and monitoring our activity. So, yeah, it's good. Everything
yeah,
is
man.
good.
Yeah, man. For the people who don't know you, bro, tell them what you do.
So
I
I
know we
do
have
all
people.
so I
Yeah,
do all of the like brand creation. So any imagery that you've seen of the brand in terms of like Sean, as it relates to photography, any videos that you've consumed on YouTube, from the beginning to where we are now, has been is what I do, and then we work together as a team to create phenomenal imagery and succincting copy to imagery,
true.
um, and really creating the most phenomenal experience that what helps us to attract our ideal client, right? While attracting
Yeah,
our ideal team. So this is what we do. Yeah, this is what we do.
yeah, yeah. Mr. B, you're in a very unique position, right? Having basically seen everything and photographed and captured everything. I remember the first time when I started working with the brand a couple years ago. Um, I remember you and Shan being in a park in, was it New York?
In New York, yep, we were
Yeah.
actually in a park
Uh-huh.
in Queens.
In Queens. Okay.
We was in Queens, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I remember just seeing your work. So I'm curious to know, like, from your perspective, since you've basically photographed everything, like videotaped everything, like I know you have a unique perspective in how the image or the positioning of the brand has shifted, throughout the years as we have grown. So, what is your perspective, and what have you seen? What are some of the biggest changes that you've seen? Um, the biggest shifts when it comes to the imagery?
Well, let's say from starting, we were already Sean was already in the speaking space, and so we were already planning to do to execute where we actually are now. But it was just interesting how the creator has something bigger and better. So, we enter into the pandemic, so which shifted us into a very virtual space. But even starting out, we already had the imagery and the ideal of being where we are now. So having to have insight, having vision is very important. So it's like all the things that Sean is saying now. I have, and I think I might have shared it with you, Junior, but like I have writings from Sean where him and I are together and on a whiteboard. Sean is really infamous about the whiteboard where he wrote out everything. I actually have, and I took pictures of it, and to kind of see the manifestation of those things now, you got to have vision. So sometimes it may look one way now, but you're taking stills and taking videos of the current place with the larger picture in mind. So we started out, for example, with him doing his shirt and the red tie. Now he's moved to, wearing a blazer.
Yeah,
um, but that wasn't necessarily probably on the whiteboard, but just is also the how he always says, like God is in the details. So
yeah,
sometimes when you're creating, some details may not be there, but as you develop or continue to put yourself in a place of development and creativity along with execution, then those things kind of flourish, or they become sprinkled in as
yeah.
you move and flow. So
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely. And you know, this reminds me, just listening to you speak, it reminds me of a saying that vision has nothing to do with sight.
you're right.
Vision
Absolutely
has
right.
nothing to do with sight. So we see, like everybody can see, right? Most people, right? But your vision is what you see in your mind's eye.
Right.
So even if you're capturing the video, you're capturing the imagery, this is what people see, right? But you convey a vision not necessarily through the photography or through the videography, but you convey a vision through your words, right?
Hmm.
Guys, write this down. Your words shape your world. Write that down. Your words shape your world. Now that is so profound in multiple ways, right? Being a copywriter, I know that your words shape your world because we write things into existence, right? We literally
Right.
write things into existence.
Every
But
day.
also, yeah, but also we when we speak things into existence. If I want to create something, I have to identify it. And the way that I identify it is with a word. So right now you're wearing a hat, a cap, a fitted cap, right? So if I can't contain it in a word, how can I create it? So for your vision, for the people looking, I know you have visions, you have goals, you know where you want to bring your business, right?
Right.
My question to you is, have you captured that fully in the form of words? Have you written it down? Have you spoken it into existence? And when I listen to you speak, and I haven't seen some of those whiteboard sessions myself, I know that Shan, he literally wrote out some of this stuff many years ago. He literally wrote this out many, many years ago. Even if we didn't know how we were going to get there or what the exact steps were, like they were already written.
Yeah, and that's true. And I've written a lot, like even just from the time that I've encountered Sean, like I got notebooks, just
Yes, sir.
notebooks of stuff, that even like now that I would be able to go back to and reference and say, okay, well, what did I write 2 years ago? What did I write? What did I write 5 years ago? And then to be able to say to see it and see how either one how things have manifested. Two, how have they um, how have they manifested, but how have they grown? And how have they sustained you? Right? Has those writings been a form of sustainability for you in this place? And how has your vision grown from what you've written. So you will be able to. I think you should be able to reflect um, on your writings, and then being able to look at where you are now. I know for a fact that when I left Atlanta, I had no idea. I
Hmm.
had no idea where I would be sitting today and the opportunities that would be here. But it's always, for me, I think it's always been a hustle or a fight to be better, you know. So I
Definitely.
think so I think for us, like for when Sean and I got together, and you talk about those early mornings and commuting, and Sean talked about commuting through New York and being like on the train. Like I'm a witness to that because we shot a lot of videos early in the morning, and I mean I would get up, and him and I would get up like 6 a.m. We'll be out in the park shooting the videos for in preparation for where we are now. So I can totally testify to a lot of the things that he's talked about.
Definitely. You know what's so interesting? And this is for everybody looking, right? This is an exercise for every single person looking. About a year and a half ago, I wrote a letter to myself. Guys, pay attention. I wrote a letter to myself. I wrote a letter a year and a half ago to myself, and I wrote certain things into existence, certain personal goals, right? And I put it in the form of an email. So I wrote down, okay, what are my goals for, when I look at goals, I look at goals in like the most important areas to me. Like it may be different for everybody else, but I look at health, I look at wealth, I look at relationships, and I look at mission. For me, these are the most important areas in life, these four areas. So I wrote a letter to myself, basically predicting, where I would be and giving myself encouragement and motivation and giving myself a pep talk in the letter, right? And I put it in the form of an email. Imagine that I schedule an email to go out for exactly 365 days. Like this is something I really did. Like, and this is something that everybody here should do. So take some time out. Maybe today's Saturday, right? Saturday afternoon, you're chilling, you're relaxing. Take some time out, write a letter to yourself. Look at your goals for business. For example, I see Marva in the chat. So if let's say Marva, for example, Marva's gonna write, like, literally address yourself. Good morning, Marva. This is me. And then you're literally writing to yourself. I sent out an email and then I received the email some time ago. I'm like, who is this? I'd forgotten about it. I forgot all about it. When I opened it, it was literally like me addressing myself and basically speaking some of the things that I had become. So what I wrote to myself 365 days ago, when I received the email, I was actually living some of those things. I had literally written those things into existence. And it was actually, I don't even know, Mr. B, it was really, really touching, right? It was really, really touching. Now, guys, the truth is that you have to be honest with yourself when you write this letter. Like this is a letter to you and for your eyes only. It's not for anybody else. So you want to definitely write down your goals, write down your aspirations, write down your fears, write down what you love. I know there may be some women looking, maybe they want to get married, maybe they want to have kids, maybe they want to do something that's important to you. Write it into existence, write a letter to yourself. And from the moment you schedule that letter out, you have to work like HELL to ensure that you make those things come into existence. I guarantee you, if you do that 365 days from today, if you work at it, when you receive that letter, when you receive that email, it will be the most phenomenal thing that you've ever read. That's an exercise that anybody here could use to literally write their lives into existence. Literally. All right. I think you said somebody has a question. Let's see. All right.
So Jennifer had a question.
Okay. So Jennifer says, Mr. B, how would someone start embodying their brand through imagery if they're just getting started?
That's a great question, Jennifer. I definitely say you would start embodying your brand by being able to connect or start seeing, collecting things that embody your brand, things that give you inspiration, things that give you insight. Follow people that are doing things that you're doing or desire to do, right? As well as you taking hold to the nuances that signify you, right? So you can look at other people things and find the inspiration, but also begin to sprinkle as you start to execute on your things, sprinkle in nuances that signify you, things that only you can bring to the table. So, so if it's pictures, if it's watching movies, if it's, connecting, making a collage of images that um, look like where you want to be, then collect those things, and then you start it. So, say for instance, so for me, I actually have Pinterest, a Pinterest account, and I really like men's fashion, of course. I like to dress, although I dress like this. But what's interesting for me is that shooting Sean, when I go into a photo shoot with Sean, and we may have a conversation about things, and then I already know the brand, but I study certain poses, I study certain combinations, although his things doesn't change in terms of his staples of what he looks like, but I'm able to say, hey, I think if we shoot in this type of space for this next shoot, is going to give us the next level of luxury. If that's what you're going for, it's going to give us the next appearance of first class. It's going to give us the appearance of black excellence. So there's things that I look at and that I actually literally create a lookbook for myself, or even the way that I want to look and dress. I create
Yeah.
a lookbook and I follow those photographers or designers in those spaces. I may never speak to them, but I collect images of what I want to look like and what I want to do, and then I
Nice.
do it.
You said a lookbook.
Yeah, my own
Did
personal
anybody catch
lookbook. I
that?
never really talk about it. It's just stuff that I do.
Am I the only one who caught that? A lookbook. I've never heard of that, but that sounds very interesting. That sounds very interesting. I've never heard of that one, but that sounds really nice. That sounds really nice, man. That was a great question, Jennifer. Guys,
Yeah,
does
thank you,
anybody else
Jennifer.
have any other questions? We have some great questions today. Let's see. Who has a question? Who has a question? Put it in the chat. Let's see. Yeah, but that was really good, Mr. B. While we waiting for some questions, I have a question. While you were talking, the subject of accessories came to mind.
Hmm.
I know we have a lot of women looking. Like when you look at things like accessories, right? When building a brand, how would you advise women to go about selecting accessories like earrings, necklaces? Because you see, everything is intentional. Everything has to be intentional. So it's not like you can't just wake up today and just wear a different color necklace because you just feel like, unless that's your brand, right? But if you're doing something that's very, like you're going for a specific look, the last thing you want to do is change your attire to match your desire and you look phenomenal and then you wear something that's not on brand. You attach something to your clothing that's not on brand. So for the women looking and for the men, right?
Hmm.
How would you recommend them selecting items, additional items to add to their clothing, um, and staying on brand at the same time?
Man, that's a really great question. Uh, I believe, you have to be deeply in love with your brand, right? Deeply in love with your look. So as you begin to pick pieces or you prepare to be out, if it's just you're going to speak or if you're going doing a function or even doing a photo shoot, you want to pick pieces that coincide with your brand and that sticks to it. So like for example, I know I have the red glasses, but outside of if I don't have on the red glasses, um I have my locks, right? And then I may have them styled a certain way, or or I may make sure that with where I may want to go, I'll if I don't do this, I'll put on my button down, right? My white shirt and my blazer, and then uh I'll throw the red handkerchief inside the pocket. I mean I have on the red tie, but I have certain things that will allow me to be that still speaks to me, my creativity, so how I may style my hair or what type of shirt I may put on or even the
Yeah.
shoes I may wear still signifies me when I step out, um when I come outside or when I do my photo shoot. So like for instance, I'll share something. Like I always wear black when I'm doing a shoot. It's a
Definitely.
variation. Or when I am creating, I always wear these. When I'm creating, I wear these glasses. So I'm intentional about what I put on when I show up. Everything. Like Junior said, the intentionality behind what you do. So, if you want to expand, just think about, does it resonate with you, and being in love with who you are and how you show up, will help you better select what you put on, if that helps anybody.
Yes, yes, definitely. All right. That was really good, Mr. B. I think Jennifer has a question. All right. So Jennifer says, how often should someone shoot brand imagery? Is it something we could do it ourselves?
That's another
Right.
great question. How often? It depends on how often you plan to shift or change. As your brand is growing, you want to plan out maybe your shoots. It may be every 6 months. It may be every 12 months, right? That you may get with a certain photographer or a brand strategist, and you work out that. You may not stray away from your core, but you may find other ways to enhance your brand where you are, or find that in the enhancements that will take your brand to the next level. So you can do some things yourself, right? Um, you can do some things yourself if you are crafty enough. You can do some things yourself. You can take photos of yourself. And this may move into another small aspect. So as you're branding yourself and maybe you're doing your YouTube, you can do your own thumbnails and take different pictures of yourself doing certain things that maybe align with topics that you're going to put out. And then you can take your own photos and use those imageries to create your thumbnails. So there are many things that you can do yourself. But I will say that when you are trying to take yourself to the next level and you need a certain level of branding, uh, you want to connect with the right people that's going to usher you in or assist you with in creating that look. Let's be honest. Everybody may not be fashion forward. Everybody is not going to necessarily want to know the inner workings of an ISO or a certain type of lens for a camera. Like that's not
Bruh,
what you
bruh,
that's not your thing. Like
bruh.
okay, or how to work a light. You
ISO.
like no, no, no. You
Uh-uh.
like I want to, like, for me as a photographer, I create the experience to say I want you to look and feel your best. I'll walk you through from beginning to end. When you step into the studio with me, you are going to have a first class experience to know that, like, when you step in front of the camera, you're going to feel phenomenal, and you're going to feel love, and you're going to love the camera, and the camera's going to love you back. So I just created an experience that try to help people. So if it's not your thing, don't stress about it. Find the right person that can help you brand yourself. Find the right person that will help bring the imagery that you're looking for. Bring that to life.
Yep. 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 I would say some things you can do it yourself, but for other things that involve ISOs and all of that, I'm good. Get somebody like Mr. B, right, to do that for you. Because and it's so interesting, right? And this is I tell this to so many people. Like a lot of people, when they have to do stuff, like even things like flyers for their business, for their brand, they want to just jump on Canva and do it themselves. So I normally say, well, if you're putting out something that's going to represent your brand, you should probably invest a little bit of money, get an actual graphic designer
Right.
to actually do something for, because at the end of the day you're building an asset. Like people have to look at what they put out. Content in this day and age, content is an asset.
Yes.
Content, let me say that one more time.
Yes.
Your content is an asset, and we'll be talking a lot more about that as we move into different things like NFTs, Web 3.0. Like your content is an asset. So if you're putting out content, you have to think of it like you're putting out a little store, you're putting out a little shop. So are you going to put out a little shop that doesn't look so good, or, it just looks average, or do you want to put out something because it's going to be there forever? Once it's on the internet, that's it. Like it's there
It's
forever,
there.
generations to come. So you want to always invest, especially for your brand. Invest in a graphic designer, invest in a photographer. Do it the right way. Do it the right way the first time. The first impression is a lasting impression. Do it the right way the first time, right? Do it the right way, and just invest in a little bit in yourself. So that's what I would say to that.
I love that. That's right. Do it the right
Yes.
way, and don't sell yourself short for what you want to look like and where you want to be. And then sometimes, even if you can't afford the $5,000 photographer, find the photographer, still do your due diligence and find the photographer that aligns with your vision, right? And if you want the $5,000 photographer, be strategic and find a way to secure him or her, right? Because then you realize the investment is great, and there was a sacrifice that you made to get there. So it's
Yep.
going to be well worth it. It's going to be well worth it. So don't sell yourself short.
Exactly.
Don't be cheap on yourself, because you are worth it.
Exactly, guys. Don't sell out on your dreams.
Hmm.
That means don't let any amount of money keep you from moving towards your dreams. Like you have to pay X amount. People sell out on their dreams when they refuse to pay the price. So you're selling out on your dreams by not paying the price that it takes to get there. So that's something that you definitely don't want to do, because your brand will pay you back 1,000 times whatever it is that you invest in it. So money
Exactly.
goes in, whatever you put in is whatever you get out. So that's just the way it works. But Mr. B, we are about to shut down. I don't see any more questions in the chat.
We are past the 9 o'clock hour. This has been
Yeah,
great.
yes, it has. All right. So, is there anything else you want to say? Since we're on the topic of photography, is there any other piece of advice or snippet of advice that you would give to the people watching when it comes to building their brand image?
Uh, just constantly stay in flow. Look around you for for inspiration. Look around you for insight, and constantly feed that thing. Constantly feed your dreams. Constantly feed your dreams to people like Julia and Sean and Tasha and Jennifer. um, you know, Surround yourself with amazing people. That's one of the things I would say. I wake up every morning and I speak to some phenomenal people. And that's one of the things I thought about the other day. And I was like, I kick off my day with talking with some phenomenal people and having international sessions before I even go do the rest of my day. I was like, how many people can say that? But that inspires me. Like that lifts me. So employ people in your circle that lifts you. Employ people that's going to challenge you, and employ people that also going to tell you the truth about yourself too. Uh, no matter where you are. So that's what I would say to everybody in this space. Lastly, I want to go ahead and promote the brand challenge, right? So if you think about growing your brand, and some of the things I've already talked and mentioned about just in this space alone, like definitely join us July 22nd through the 24th. Start thinking about your brand imagery, so when you come to the brand. So I just want to put that information about the brand challenge coming up. Like, join us. Like, it's going to be dope. It's going to be phenomenal. So if you want to grow your brand, take it to the next level and do all these things, you definitely don't want to miss this opportunity to be with us, for us to be together and to do the brand challenge. So that was all I had to say.
Definitely, brother. Definitely. Guys, we're going to put up the link for the brand challenge. Listen, everybody here is invited. It literally costs $1. $1, right? For thousands of dollars worth of information to grow your brand. This will be, if I put up the link in YouTube, but if somebody from my team could put that up in Facebook, so people on Facebook and also LinkedIn can get access to that, that would be absolutely phenomenal. But guys, yeah, the brand challenge is going to be from the 22nd, definitely 23rd, and also 24th. And during that challenge, we're going to teach you how to strategize, systemize, and scale your brand.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, we've went from 0 to multiple 7 figures organically. That means no paid ads, no paid ads. And we didn't have any like investment capital. We started from nothing, from literally grinding, literally boots on the ground. So if anybody knows about branding, trust me, we do. Right, that's the link right there. So if you're looking at this, just write it down. If you're on YouTube, just click it. If you're not, just take a screenshot of the link. It will give you all of the information you need, including the dates, the times, the topics, why you should be there, and how you could invite some other people to join you as well. All right, so that's it for me, Mr. B. When you're ready, go ahead. Let's play that clip and let's take us out of here. Thank you so much, guys. Let's grow.
Listen, guys, you can do it yourself. I'm going to show you how. You know my story. I'm just a kid from Harlem who God chose to show his favor and mercy through. Grew up in Harlem, had it rough. Didn't start with a lot, but here we are. You don't have to start with everything. You don't have to have all of the answers, guys. That's why you want to come to the challenge, so we can help you with the answers. We not in Harlem right now. We not in Harlem right now. I don't know where you're starting, but I promise you, we're going to help you get from where you are to wherever it is that you want to be. Other side of the planet, other side of the zip code, other side of the pay grade, other side of the office. If you want to move up or move out, it doesn't make a difference. My name is Sean Raisa. We're going to help you July 22nd to 24th during the Brand Challenge. Let's grow.